Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to all participants joining our CATS webinar in our PDT session today. Today we are going to have around 1 hour session with about 30 minutes sharing from our speaker and the rest 30 minutes with Q&A. Make sure you are attending the right session, which is Innovate with Data Insights, with Driven Data Insights. Before we proceed, I would like to brief a little bit about our speaker. Our speaker today is Mr. Muhammad Shahril Hanifah, a data scientist from the Center of Applied Data Science or CATS. He graduated from University Tun Hussein on UTHM in mechanical engineering. Before he joining CATS, he underwent his internship in oil and gas field at the APS Sdn Bhd. If you are joining our CATS webinar, this is our third session already. Before we start, I would like to give a reminder to everyone to kindly mute yourself as to reduce noise and other interruptions. We're going to have Q&A sessions towards the end of our sharing. Please be ready with your questions or drop easily in the chat box. Without further ado, we shall begin our talk today. Mr. Sharil, you may start your sharing now.
Thank you so much, Lubna, and especially our organizer, Dr. Nur Hidayah, for the introduction. My name is Muhammad Sharil. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. So today I'm going to share about data and how to innovate with data. So let's just jump straight into my presentation. Okay, so let's start things off. Innovate with data-driven insight. 10 tips. I'm going to give you 10 tips to innovate with data-driven insights. It's by me, myself, Muhammad Sharil, and it's for today, 22nd of April. So what are our agendas today? So today I'm just going to go a little bit, not deep dive into things, but just give a little bit of brief info about certain things. So what I'm going to go through is what is data. Then we're going to go to what is big data. And then what is innovation? What is a data-driven business model? 10 tips to innovate with data-driven insights, as well as how data can help with your business. So who are we? Who are CATS? Who are the Center of Applied Data Science? So the Center of Applied Data Science is an skills intelligence company, management solution company that empowers companies to become a data-driven organization by upskilling their workforce. So if you have a workforce that you need to upskill, we are the one to send them to. So here are our vision and mission. So our mission at CATS is simply to accelerate enterprise journey to become a data-driven organization and empowering the workforce to become data literate. What is data literate? We're going to go through more about that later on. So what is our vision? Is to future-proof the world by improving data literacy as an economy of the workforce. So that's who we are. That's who CATS are. So what do we do? What do we do actually? What do CATS actually do? We at the Center of Applied Data Science, what we do is we predict, we resolve, and we monitor. So we predict by understanding workforce capability and skills gap that appear all around the world, especially in the Asian countries, Asian region. Resolve by upskilling your workforce to become data literate, as well as monitor by ensuring real-time insight on workforce dynamic skills inventory. So since CAT has been around, we have benefit almost 12,000 workforce from various companies have been has benefited from our upskilling. 300 and more organization has reaped the benefits of transformation through our solutions, as well as 6 countries with our market presence across Asian regions. Like I mentioned earlier, we focus on the Asian region. So let's just straight jump into our topic here today, which starts with data. What is data? Why data? Most people consider to be the new oil. So let's just jump straight into it. What is data? Now, if we talk about data mainly in the field of science, in the field of data science, then the answer to what is data will be that data is different types of information that is usually formatted in a particular manner. So all the software is divided into 2 major categories, and those are programs and data. So these programs are the collection made of instructions that are used to manipulate the data sets that we have, that we gathered throughout. why data is the new oil. What is the similarities between oil and data? So as we know, oil is one of the most important resources for humanity. Everything that revolves around us uses oil. But without we realize everything that revolves around us use data as well. Everything that revolves around us. So just like oil, which is worth much, much more when transformed into more constructive objects. Yes, of course, when we get the crude oil, it's not as valuable as after it's undergo to the process and everything. Same goes to data. If you have raw data, it doesn't mean anything. You have to deep dive, go through it, put it into predictive model, things like that, and then only you get the valuable insights. That is why big data or data is the new oil. You need to process it. The raw data doesn't mean anything unless you process your data. So when data is processed, analyzed, and utilized efficiently and instantly, it will have a much greater value into it rather than you having the raw data and didn't do anything about it. Uh you won't acquire any information regarding your data. So data is usually analyzed for insights to help organizations to make informed decision and adjust your strategy. This is why data is the new oil. So what is innovation? We've heard about innovations a lot of time, especially during even in our school days. Innovation, we were taught about innovation. So innovation is a production or adoption, assimilation or exploitation of a value-added novelty. That's the main part about innovation is a value-added novelty in economic and social spheres. Renewal or enlargement of product, anything that you have modify a product with, services, or even the markets. Development of new methods of production, that is what we can consider as innovation as well as the establishment of new management systems. There are two types of innovation. This is how I categorize things. So there is type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is to identify a better alternative solution to address an existing problem, while number 2 is to redefine the existing problem into a more meaningful one and solve it with whatever method that is available to you. So that is innovation in a nutshell. So what is big data? We've heard about big data for far too long now. I think for the past 5, 6 years, big data has become a global thing. So a big thing in the global scale. So big data refers to big data sets that are too large or complex to be dealt with by traditional data processing application software. So used to back then, we don't have the data processing application software to deal with the data sets that are too large or too complex. So what we did was we just take a sample out of the data sets. So that is not big data. Data with many fields offer greater statistical power. The more data we have, the more accurate it is, the more statistical power that we have with more data. So the current usage of the term big data tends to refer to the use of predictive analytics, user behavior analytics. This is what most companies are going through at the moment. They are leaning more towards predictive analytics as well as user behavior analytics to discover what your clients want, what your clients' behavior and all those things. We will deep dive further more into that, how it will be beneficial to your companies and so on. Or to extract other advanced data analytics method that extract value from big data. So data-driven business models. This is what, in short form, we call it as DDBM. So what is actually a data-driven business model? It's actually a business model that is built around data, that revolves around data. Anything that you do, it revolves around data. It lays out benefits for users of database services or introduces method for managing of such products. So this is what data-driven business models all about. It revolves around data. It is built around data as a product. That is the main keywords. So winning with data, this is one of my favorite interview that I have seen. It came from Toto Wolff. He is the team principal of the Mercedes AMG Petronas team, who have won, I think, the past 8 constructors championship in Formula One in a row. So in his own words, in one of his interviews, he told the interviewer that they are winning with data. So that's why they are exploring more options into its data. And similar teams, even the rival teams, are going with data as well. In the Formula One world, we see all the teams are using data, but the ones that have the edge in the data analytics are the ones leading in the Constructors Championship in Formula One, and that is Mercedes Petronas AMG team. And this proves that innovation with data has contributed not only in the business world, but data revolves all around us. Even in sports, even in football, we can see that data is being utilized more often than not nowadays. So we have come up to the part where I'm going to give you 10 tips for innovation with data-driven insight. So what is data-driven insight? How do we innovate with data-driven insights? So data-driven insights are the insights that we gain from analyzing our data that we have. So for the first step is to develop a data-driven culture. How to develop a data-driven culture? It cannot start from below. It has to start from way up top at the very top of the chain of any company. If your top bosses does believe in data, does believe in the capabilities of gathering data, harnessing data, using AI to your advantage, then you can develop a data-driven culture. It cannot be only in the employees. It has to start from way up top. And thankfully, in CATS, we are driven by Shah, who is very enthusiastic in developing a data-driven culture in CATS. As we all know it, just like oil, for today's businesses, effective data utilization is concerned with not only competitiveness but also survival itself. So in today's world, in order for you to survive as a company in today's business world, you need to develop a data-driven culture because everything around you revolves around data. You cannot get left behind. That is tip number one. The second tip is skills intelligent to identify right people for the right project. Have you encountered any problems in your workspace or your workplace or your job where you encountered a lot of times where wrong people are being tasked with the wrong project? It's not their expertise. So how do we go against that? How we overcome this problem? How we want to know the right people for the right job? Use data. With data, you can identify all of that. You can identify the right people for the right project. So don't only use your analytics on your clients. Don't use it on your customers only. You can use analytics on your employees. This is what many companies overlook. They always spend their intelligence, their skills on intelligence to identify the certain behavior of their customers, on their clients, but they forgot to use analytics on their employees. So before you use your analytics on your customers, on your clients, use it on your employees. So you can detect certain patterns on your employees, and then you can identify the right people for the right project. This is how you use analytics to improve your workforce. The third tip is fall in love with the problems, not the solution. What does it mean by falling in love with the problems, not the solution? So if you fall in love with the solution, means you have a solution towards a problem and you fall in love with the solution instead of the problem. So you won't think of any other ways or any other solutions that you can come up with to go to overcome the problem that we had. That's what happened when you fall in love with the solution. But when you fall in love with the problem, one solution won't be enough. You want to know more about this problem. How else can you solve this problem? So without realizing, if you come up with a solution, maybe a solution for now, and then you found another solution, that solution might be some alternatives that can be used for the future. Maybe some solution sounds a bit futuristic, but without realizing, it can be used for the future. Always remember what is in demand now doesn't mean it will be in demand for the next decades. Always remember that. Next tip is we need to ask ourselves for the next 6 tips that I'm going to give. I've already given up 3 tips. The next 6 tips will be sort of like questions to ask yourself how to innovate with data, but you need to ask this question to yourself first. So the first one is, what do we want to achieve using data? You need to know what you want to achieve. You cannot suddenly, oh, I want to use data, but I don't know what to achieve with data. Mm, Later on, when I use data, maybe or might be I know what to achieve with data. No, you cannot do that. You need to set your objectives right from the start. You need to know what you want to achieve using data. So you need to set what is our main objective. These different businesses have different ways to innovate their products or services. For instance, Apple, which is already around 40 years old, 40 plus now, and Amazon, for instance, they have vastly different business models. Apple and Amazon, at the first glance, at the first thought, you don't think that there is any similarities between those two. Apple's and Amazon, they sell the same. They sell different products. Apple's, they have MacBook, they have the phone, they have the iPads. While Amazon, everything is online, right? Yet both companies have built solid business models around big data. Both of them are using data to present consumers product and services they might relevant to. By using data, Apple knows what we want. Apple knows what we need. Same goes to Amazon. That's why they know how to approach their clients. Same goes to Apple. Why did you keep innovate their products? For instance, right now I'm using my MacBook, and there's no USB anymore. There's no USB port anymore. There's no more disk. There's no more diskette. Way back in the day, we have diskette, and then they innovate. They put in the CD. Now they don't even put in the CD, and they don't even use the USB port. So that is how they innovate using data. While with data, they know what the customers need. They know what the clients want. They know what the clients utilize using their MacBooks. So this is how they innovate their products for the future. So what is our desired offering? A business, any business must decide in what way the DDBM, the data-driven business models, construct will benefit the company's current offering, or alternatively, you have to create an entirely new one. So established businesses have a tendency to utilize data to improve or enhance their current customer offering. Of course, all the established businesses, they will have the tendency to utilize data in order to improve their current customer offering. They
You
don't
put
want.
join again.
Sorry, I thought someone was asking me something. Sorry for the interruption. I thought someone asked a question. Right, I'm gonna pick up where we left off. For instance, Grab used to be just a vehicle hailing services platform, and now they are a unicorn company. What does Grab doesn't do nowadays? They do everything. They used to be only a vehicle hailing services platform, but now they do food. They do all the things that we never thought they would. They have Grab Shop. They have so many other things rather than just being a vehicle hailing services platform. I think nowadays they don't even rely on their vehicle hailing services anymore. They have a lot of things. We can see a lot of things that revolves around Grab nowadays, and this is how Grab uses data to innovate their company, to develop a new offering. Instead of just staying being a vehicle hailing company, they have developed to be a much more bigger company than what they used to be. And this is all relevant by using data. By using data, they know what the people want. So the next tip, the sixth tip, is what data do we require and how are we going to acquire this? So once you have the desired offering, you now have to decide on what data that you require and how you're going to require it. You need to know what data that you need, and you need to know how are we going to acquire it. Of course, it has to be legally, how you get the data, how you acquire the data. So, but you need to know what kind of data that you require. You cannot just simply get a data set and going to go through with it, but you need to know what kind of data that you need based on what you have decided earlier. What is your offering and so on? What is your main objectives? So, what data that you require, uh, it has to fulfill all those criteria. So deciding on which data is the most applicable, the nature of that data acquisition is pivotally important to the success of a DDPM construction. So as an example, we have given up the fashion retailer of Topshop combines customer provide the data, free available data from fashion blogs when running predictive and descriptive analytics protocol to determine emerging trends within the highly competitive retail clothing industry. So this is how Topshop maintains the edge in the retail clothing industry. Same goes to Zara, I believe. So that's how they maintain the edge in the fashion industry. So in what ways are we going to process and apply this data? How are we going to process and apply this data? So methods of processing reveal the true value contained within data. Like we mentioned earlier, if we don't process our data, raw data doesn't mean anything. You won't get any insight out of raw data if you're not going to process the data. So we knowing which key activities will be utilized to process data enables the business to plan accordingly, ensuring that the necessary hardware, software, as well as employee skill set are in place. So you have to have those three: hardware, software, as well as employee skill set. And businesses need to plan accordingly. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. As simple as that. So, for example, Coca-Cola, Coke. As anyone not knowing Coke, everyone knows Coke, has been using data analytics to undergo predictive as well as descriptive analytics. They use it to identify what the customer wants, what to produce in their ads, what the customer wants to see in their ads, what makes the customer wants to buy a Coca-Cola once they see their ads. I would say Coca-Cola ads are always brilliant. They always promote the sound that you do when you open up the can. And sometimes it does make us, oh, sounds like I need a Coke. So that's how they produce their ads by using predictive and descriptive analytics. What does trigger the clients to get a Coca-Cola? So this is the most important question. How do you acquire your data? What are your main objectives? uh, what is your offering, how do we innovate our offering, or do we offer a new one? So after answering all of those questions by yourself, you need to ask the most important question: how are we going to monetize it? How are we going to monetize everything that you have decided? So there are many ways to monetize what you have within your data. Remember, you have to analyze and process your data in order to monetize it. So knowing whether your company is going the right direction or not, this is how you monetize by using data. Actually, you can get to know ways to improve your company by using data. This is how you monetize it by using data. Not only you can improve as a company, but knowing where your company is going left, why is it going left, why is it not going in the right direction, what is going on, what's wrong with the company. You can know all that by using data. For example, the Time CEO realized that physical retailership continues to decline, thus reducing revenues. With its online offering continuing to expand, it has decided that the company will offer its online features for free. So with no cost access, no nothing whatsoever, online readers of the Times browse the website freely, and with each click type the individual user preference through his or her account. This allowed descriptive analytics, and this descriptive analytics allowed the Times to build a profile unique to each reader. So this enabled them to target by advertising both on and off the Times website, and this is how they charge at the premium because they're attractive, the attractive demographic of the readers. So they sell the data. They want to get the data so that they can sell it in a way of advertisement without realizing they are making money. But they are going to say, oh, we're doing it for free. Everything is for free. But once you register, you click everything, they have the data. And once they have the data, they can utilize the advertisement and everything that revolves around it. I think this has become more and more popular nowadays. You can see more ads going, especially YouTube. Now even Astro have ads and things like that. Those are the ways of companies monetizing up to their potential. So what are the barriers to us accomplishing our goal? We need to know what are the barriers, what is our restriction, what is going to halt us in this project. Insufficient data oriented and experienced personnel within a business. This is the major concern. This is the major problem of all, maybe if not all, most companies, most emerging companies in Malaysia. So we don't have enough data-oriented or experienced personnel within the data science community, within a business to help us out. These might be the barriers to us accomplishing our goal. So experienced personnel, and then we have applications as well as lack of tools. Software, hardware, it applies to both of them, application as well as lack of tools. So those might be the barriers. So to succeed in the digital era, you need to master your data literacy skills. What are data literacy skills? I will show you the 32 data literacy skills that you can master on your own on our website. But of course, expand your data literacy skills. With analytics tools of modern day, it is a must to keep updated and expand your data literacy skills. In short, spend on your employees, invest in your employees. Like we mentioned, we need to use analytics on your employees. And in this part, you not only need to spend on your customers to make money in the future, but you also need to spend on your employees. By spending your money on your employees, by upskilling your employees, data literacy skills can be learned in a short space of time and mastered over a long period with practice. So by doing this, you actually save a little bit money without hiring experienced data analysts or data scientists. So spend on your employees. So how do you want your employees to become more data literate, to expand their data literacy skills, to use the analytic tools of modern day? How you want them to learn? It can be learned in a short space of time, of course. So how they can learn is, of course, by going through our CAS AI skills intelligence platform. So improve your career profile with data science, with data analytics, or with an AI skills. So data professionals, we can verify skills, competency, learn new skills, you can get certified, you can get job matching. Of course, you don't want your employees to get job matching, right? But those are the four things that you can do in our AI skills intelligence platform. So we can see data professionals, we can learn new skills, we can get certified with this platform. So CATS AI platform equips talent with data literacy skills, resources, as well as relevant jobs. Oh, sorry. So join the CATS AI Data Professional community. Follow us on our social media for the latest updates. These are the social medias that we we use. We use LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have Telegram, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. Do follow us. Share your experience. Tag us. Anything that has to do with data, you can tag us. You can share your experience, what you undergo with data or what you have done with data, or how have your company or you yourself as an individual benefited with data. So you can share your experience. Follow us to get the latest updates, to get the latest news regarding CAS, regarding the data science world. We are so active in our social media communities, so please do join us and share our experience and share your experience as well. So project 2100, 2100, project 2100. So all event attendees today, all of you, I believe there are some 140, 130 of you will be getting assessments. Of course, it's not compulsory. It's up to you whether you guys want to do it or not. It is an assessment to measure your skill strength, and you can get certified, you can get recognized with all these 32 data literacy skills that you need. These are the 32 data literacy skills that you need nowadays. We have no SQL, we have statistic, we have A/B testing, we have Python programming. I'm pretty sure most of you have already heard of Python programming. We have SQL, we have Hadoop, we have deep learning, MATLAB, R programming, machine learning, and so on. We have a lot of skills that you can go and deep dive and learn get certified, get recognized with all of these skills. Not only you, but also your employees. So this is complementary. This is about big data. It's short course. You can do it in less than a day. It compromises of all these short video explaining what is big data. And at the end of each session, there will be just a small assessment just to see whether you understand or not. This is not an assessment that we will use the data, you need to perform well, or there's a threshold on how you should do. None of that. Is just an explanation on what big data and how the analytics of big data works. So it is very, very highly recommended that you go through this just a really, really short course that only takes a day. So this course provides a comprehensive introductory overview of the concept of big data and its technologies, how they use big data, what is the technologies behind big data, how can you apply big data into your company, and so on. Participants can reap the benefits of this course when planning big data projects. So if you have a big data project, you can reap the benefits from this course and use the understanding that you will learn from this course, short course, to be used in your analytics or your big data projects. You can use predictive, descriptive, or even machine learning. And then you can go to a case study. In-depth review will be given to actual use cases of 5 large international organizations and how analytics were used to provide insights from various data sources. These insights are normally used to solve the problems, reduce the cost, maximizing the revenue, and things like that. Enhance customer loyalty. By knowing your customer, you can enhance their loyalty. And this is how you gain a competitive edge over your competitors or your rivals. So I believe we have come to the last part of today. What is your biggest takeaway from today? Are you inspired? Do you want to go more data literate inside your company? Let us know. Scan the barcode and let us know. We are always looking for ways to improve our products and services. We want to know what you think. We at CATS, we at the Center of Applied Data Science, we really value your opinions. We really value what you have to say regarding us. This is how we improve ourselves and our services. So I'm just gonna leave this page for a while for you to scan the code and leave your feedback. Maybe you have a few ways for us to improve our services. Please do so. Don't hesitate to do so. I believe I have utilized all 30 minutes of the time given to me. So just gonna leave this screen for a while. If you want to scan and give your feedback, and after this, we will go into our Q&A session. Okay, I believe we have given enough time for you to scan using your mobile phone, perhaps. So we have come to the end of the slide. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening to what I have to say about how to innovate with data and how to become a data literate company. So thank you. I have provided you with all the things, maybe what is data, what is big data, and how you can overcome this problem.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sharif, for your valuable insights about data driven. And we are coming to our 30 minutes, the second 30 minutes, which is the Q&A session. Do you have any questions from the chat box or from the floor? Maybe I'll try to scroll a bit to the chat box. Okay, there is one questions from Laksamanan Kurapa. He said, data acquisition safety from cybercrime, how safe are the laws in our country to prevent data hacking? So back to you, Mr. Shahril.
Where can I get this question? I haven't seen.
Oh, at the chat box.
Laksamanan Kurupa, right?
Yeah.
So how safe are the laws in our country to prevent data hacking? I wouldn't say it's 100% safe because we don't have specific laws in our country to prevent data hacking. Although there are laws where you cannot do certain things with the data, or But how safe are the laws in our country? It's not 100% safe, but I would say it's safe enough. It's in the you don't have to worry about data hacking, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it's 100% safe as compared to other more data literate countries, because we are in the emerging sector. We are not yet at the top of the chain in the global scale of things. So thank you, Laksamanan, for your question. It's a really good question actually.
Thank you, Mr. Sharif, for your feedback. And I'm quite interested to when Sukyan said that how the management in the chatbot do you how the management and leaders embrace data driven leadership and culture. How can this data can be used in HR? Can you elaborate more about it?
In HR, for instance, like I mentioned, we can know specific things about our staff, about our personnel, especially in the HR department. We need to detect what this person can do, what this specific person is capable of. So with data, sometimes there are things that the personnel itself doesn't know. So for instance, maybe I do things that I don't know I'm good at. Maybe I'm a master in that field, but I didn't know about that. But with data, you can identify that. So as HR departments, I would say you can identify untapped potential within your personnel as well. You can see where the direction of your personnel is going. Maybe some of them became uninterested in their field, so you know where to bring your personnel into maybe another department or another field. But with data, you know what they are interested in, or without them realizing that they are interested in. So that's how you can benefit with your data, and so with data in terms of HR and human resources department. So you can know a lot more about your employees than you are now.
Thank you so much for that. Is there any more questions from the floor? All right. Sukyan ask you, what
And
does data scientists do?
so data scientist, as myself, I'm a data scientist myself. Uh, on my part, I'm a trainer for the data science community. So what do? I do all this predictive modeling and so on. But I'm more on the trainer side. But as for in general, what do data scientists do? They are more into constructive, the experiments, the models, and so on. It differs from, I believe there are three types in the data science world. You have data engineers, you have data scientists, and then you have data analysts. Most people get confused with data scientists and data analysts. While there are a difference between data scientists and data analysts. For instance, I can tell you data engineering is more involved in the back end of stuff, where you do your codings and things. And then you have your data scientists who produce your experiment, who produce your models, the descriptive modeling, the analytics, everything. It goes through the data scientist. While data analyst, once you have analyzed your data, then only the data analyst comes in and analyze your data for the final part. Once you have considered all the models, or constructed all the experiment, and then only the data analyst comes in. So that's what data scientists do. Yeah, I get this a lot as an individual actually. Wherever I go, if I say I'm a data scientist, people would think I'm a data entry personnel actually. So it's not a commonly known job. If you want to learn about data science, must I learn programming? You have to know about programming, but you don't have to be a master in it. You have to understand the logic behind programming. So if you are afraid of programming, I believe some people, especially in the engineering community, I was in that before this. So in the engineering community, most of people doesn't like programming. This is the true hard fact. Most people don't like programming. Me myself, I didn't like programming. Now I'm getting more and more into programming. But must you learn about programming? Yes, you have to know the basics behind programming. You need to know the logics behind programming. But you don't need to be a master. Please don't be afraid to indulge yourself in data science just because of.
Yeah. All right, there is more questions. Can you elaborate on how analytics is used in the Formula One world.
So in
Very curious about that.
this is the use case that is close to my heart as an avid Formula One fan. As an avid sports fan, actually, I watch football, I watch Formula One. So as we can see, especially in football world, the players are using vests to get data from how many kilometers they run, when do they get tired, in which part of the field do you normally run, where you normally use your energy. Those are the types of data that you can get. That is in football world. But in the Formula One, we can detect where did you slow down, where did you have your advantage over your rivals, how do you improve from here, where are we lacking the times, especially in the time sector. Even 0.01 second means so much in the F1 world. So this is how they use. I mentioned something about Mercedes, but I believe in the coming season, in the newer seasons of Formula One, even their closest competitors is Red Bull Racing Team. They have partnered up with Oracle. Oracle is one of the biggest data company in the world. I might say the biggest, Oracle. So they have partnered up with Oracle to use Oracle's technology and cloud system and all those things to capitalize on data and how to improve and innovate their cars according to the data that they have. How do they get the cars in the best shape possible using data? Even in crashes in Formula One, they need to see the data. How much, how fast you were going when you hit a barrier, for instance. They get to know all the data. What is the G factor when you hit a barrier? You can know all about it when you have the data. And I believe there is newer questions now. May I know how is the system compatibility between the popular data analytics software, compatibility between R and Python? That is one of the problems that I oversee when using data, is that the system that we use is often changing through times, but the compatibility between R and Python, I wouldn't say is high. There is a not a big difference in the in Python, or in R. The codings are, I would say all the programming languages, the codings are almost similar, but the compatibility between R to Python is not that high. Uh, like I said, this is one of the problems I oversee in the data science world, especially in the programming sector, where you have so much software and Java used to dominate a lot. And then we move on to C++, I believe, and now no people are no longer using C++. So it goes on with time, but now everyone is using Python. Everyone has moved on from R. So you just need to keep updated with how the future works, with how they want us to go. So for the next question, I believe it's from Sukyan. My company is small, can't afford to hire a data scientist, but I want to start doing something with data. Any tips? Ask your employees to join the AI platform on CATS. It's free, Sukyan. So if your company is small, please ask your employees to join our AI CATS community. They can improve, they can learn, they can do so many things with data. They can start things off. And by doing this, you actually save a lot. So yeah, you don't need to hire your data scientist. You can use your existing personnel, make them learn about data science and the things that revolves around data science, and they can utilize it, and they can be a data scientist in the near future as well. My data everywhere, every department has its own database, so I get starting to get synced up. There's a lot of ways you can get it synced up actually. So first and foremost, you need to have a database, a major database. If you handle your own database, it is you need to have your personnel to handle your data. I believe in Malaysia, most of the companies, this is the sad truth. I talked regarding this with a lot of companies, and especially in Malaysia, a lot of the established company actually outsource uh, these things to other smaller companies to get their data sorted. So you can do this on your own when you have the knowledge and how to do so. This is why you need to upskill your personnel. At least you have someone to do it rather than outsourcing it to another company for them to do it. I don't think it's the best practice, especially when we are moving towards the data world nowadays. So we need to be more competitive on the global scale. How do I know and which one is important for my business? How do you know which data to track? This is based on your, if you see the start of my 10 tips, I mentioned something about you need to know your objectives. So you need to know your objective before you know which data that you have to track down, and which is more important for your business is based on your objective and what are the offerings that you want to maybe improve, or maybe create a new offering from your company. You can do that as well. Or maybe more established companies will be looking for ways to improve on their products instead of looking for a new solution. So that is how you can know which data to track and which one is more important for your business. What are the programs that I should start learning first? In cats especially, we are taught, we usually ask our colleagues, our personnel that wants to learn more about data science. Don't get us wrong, we at cats, not of all of us are well versed in the data science community. Of course, we have the marketing, we have the commercial department, we have the HR department. So all of my colleagues from all of this department, most of them don't have the basics or the knowledge of data science or what data science revolves around. So sorry for that. So by doing this, by the programs, we always encourage our employees to start off with Excel, just a simple Excel, and then you can move on to other programs, other methods that you can use. There are other tools. In CAS, we experiment a lot with Tableau as well before we indulge them into the harder side of Python. Don't start things off with the hard ones. Never suddenly ask your employees to go into Python or create a coding or something that will discourage them. If you ask them to do the hard things first, they won't learn anything, or they won't be as interested as before. So make sure they learn, go through stages, start off with Excel and maybe some visualization tools. And then after that, when they get more interested, then only you can go into R, Python, and so on. So a question for Amiro Shafiq: how data analytics can be used in optimizing manufacturing and in terms of marketing. So with data analytics, this is what most company wants to know, how they can improve in terms of marketing. So in terms of marketing, like I mentioned, Coca-Cola, they, by using data, they know what to put inside their ads, when to produce their ads. Right. We can get a lot of insights in terms of marketing. There are a lot of insights. What are the target market that you are supposed to target? Doesn't mean we have a target market that is our target market for the rest of our company's tenure. No, you have to always revise your target market according to your products. So with data, you can know, you have the insight of what market that you should target, which market are buying your product, and so on. There is a lot of insight, which market you can target to, what you should do in terms of your product to innovate your product up to the market's liking, up to the public's liking. These are the things that you can find out with data. And how can you optimize manufacturing? In terms of manufacturing, you can get a lot actually in manufacturing, how to optimize the manufacturing of your products. For instance, you can get to know a lot of your machines, which machine is not doing so well, which machine is producing more products than the other ones. So this is how you can optimize your manufacturing. You can optimize it in a lot of ways using data. Now we have Jihazin. How can data science help us in the oil and gas industry? If you see a video before we start this session, there is a video with Sharala talking about which industry that benefits the most with data science. So she firstly mentioned it's the financial sector, banks, and so on. Of course, we can see a lot of banks going through this data. Even nowadays, if you apply a loan, for instance, they use data to see whether they should approve or reject your loan application. That is the things that they do with data. And the second industry that Shah touched on is was actually oil and gas industry. So oil and gas industry, they wasn't that keen to use data science at the start of things. They were skeptical about big data, how it can profit the oil and gas company. But with data, we can do predictions, we can do forecasts. This is what valuables to the oil and gas industry, I believe. It's the forecasting. It's how you see the future going on, how you need your energy to be. Is it gonna stay with oil for the next decades? So with data, you can utilize this and get insights on how the data, how the world gonna revolves around the around the oil and gas industry in the coming future. So that is how data science can help you in the oil and gas industry to forecast, to predict the future and how to go against that. Of course, as an oil and gas companies industry, they cannot rely too much on oil anymore. It's all about renewable technologies and so on. So it doesn't focus specifically on oil nowadays. So this is how data science can help you with which way to go, how do you do from here on in. This is what data can help you with. Thank you, Jihazin, for the question. A really good one. Any other question? Mentioning on football, can data be utilized on predicting analysis on their opponents? Yes, actually, look now in football, you can utilize on predicting analysis on their opponents. This is what they do on a daily basis. Uh, you can you can predict a lot of things actually. Even if nowadays, if you watch football, especially in the English Premier League, during a game, you can see a statistic up on there giving you a win probability. You have the home team, away team, and they will give you a win probability on which outcome is the most likely to come out with. So, how do they come up with the win probability? It's by using data.
Quite interesting because I just read a Twitter about Heidi Agras. She's a JDT tactical analysis. Um, so she went on analysis when JDT I think JDT versus Kedah. Yeah, Kedah. So she analysed everything about the tactical, the move, everyone, the players. So it's quite interesting to know how data can be utilized in the sports science field. So
Yes.
the next question.
And touching about that,
Yeah.
Lubna, it's a really good
Mm.
question because used to in the back in the days, how we predict our opponents, do an analysis on our opponents is what we do is actually we watch videos and videos and videos and videos of how our opponents play, how our opponents react to certain situations. But nowadays we don't do that anymore, not as often as we used to. Now maybe the footballers will watch a video or two regarding their opponents and that's it, because they have the data to back you up. If you look at the screen, you know where your opponents will go. This guy, he will go here 90% of the time. You have the data to back you up. All the data will give you uh, an insight on what the player usually do. So this helps a lot with the analysis of the opponents. You don't need to go through videos and spend all of your time through all the videos. No, you don't have to do that anymore. So Adi Shafiq come up with the question, football manager use data analytical? Yes, they do actually, football, especially managers. This if you are a football fan, I'm pretty sure you know about Jurgen Klopp. He's the manager of Liverpool. Although I'm not a big fan of Liverpool, but I have to credit him in a way that they use analytics on how they choose to buy their players, and this was brought on by Jurgen Klopp himself. So it has proven to be one of the best way for them to produce all the get all the insights on what they want to know or who they want to buy and so on. So that's how Liverpool became a powerful force that they are now. They don't spend a lot with unlike the likes of maybe Chelsea, Manchester United. They spend a lot to get the best players. While Liverpool, they don't spend. What they use is they use analytics to get the best player out that can give them the best statistical rewards. I believe I didn't answer Sukyan's question. Can you share one last case study with us? Any interesting one? She wonder how metaverse will change the world. Metaverse, sometimes it looks like a dream. It's something from the future, but believe me, it's coming soon. It's no longer. It's not something that is in the future. It's now. Metaverse is now. This is why Mark Zuckerberg, I believe, has been going through about metaverse over and over again. It's something that is going on now. If you don't know about metaverse, go and check out what is metaverse actually and how it's going to present itself to you. Yes, you can play football together in the metaverse. Go have a look at how the game world is going to revolve around metaverse. It really is interesting. Nowadays, imagine playing a game, maybe a Grand Theft Auto or football game using metaverse. You can actually live in this situation itself. So that is how metaverse will comply to the world. It's not the future. It is now. Believe me, it is now. It will come in the nearest future. Yeah, I believe the equipments for the metaverse, they are trying to get it done as soon as possible. And I believe Ryzen or a company has produced the uh what do they call it, products for the metaverse itself. Okay, only locals is Lubna.
Yeah.
I believe Lubna is a GTT fan.
No, I'm loyal to my state.
Okay, okay. Loyal to my state as well as Langorian.
Yeah.
When I was
Oh
born.
yeah.
Yeah.